delicious beverage?
Duh. One, two.
1, 2.
And here we are, episode
Here
3
we are.
already.
Can you please hand me our mission statement?
Oh, yes, our mission statement is right here, Allison.
Because one might say, well, what exactly is the Allison and Marc podcast, Married in Media?
Yeah, what is it?
I'm ready for it.
I see. I like that.
I have
After
to
working
memorize
out,
it.
look at you looking all fresh.
Well, we'll talk about that.
So fresh and so clean. Boom, 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 boom,
really.
boom, boom.
We
boom,
are
boom,
two
boom, boom, boom.
Gen X media pros who happen to be married with 3 grown kids. We talk about everything from politics to pop culture with a little bit of humor, history, and a whole lot of love.
Is that what we are?
That's what I think we are.
Nice. I was trying to think.
I think you got to define yourself.
You like that? You like a little organization, babe, don't you? You don't like to just be going willy-nilly, right?
And everything is a song. Hi, lady. Okay, joining the podcast today. We have 3 grown kids and 2 shelter pups.
So, babe, among the things we'll cover today,
Sit down.
podcast clip of the week, on the Marc,
He's got a little.
Ask Allison.
No.
What's your history feature called?
I haven't really worked it out yet.
Wait a minute. No name yet?
Not yet.
What's going on, Sandra Marshall? Some say Sandra. I call her
look at
Sandra.
Look at Bootsy.
Bootsy Vegas in the house.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all. Hey,
Mr. Sally
y'all.
Williams. Yeah. So what's on your mind, Marc?
All right, you want to hop into it?
Let's get it.
Okay, so I'm gonna hop on in. I'm going to hop on in because I'm curious to get your thing on this. Okay. Now I told you on my mind, it was the Nikki Haley was on my mind. There are a couple things were on my mind, right?
Yeah.
But I called an audible, Allison.
All right.
So I was going to talk about Nikki Haley, of course, running for president, the question about racism in America. If you need to be reminded.
I want to ask you about a comment you made earlier this week. You said that America has, quote, never been a racist country, unquote. Protections for the institution of slavery were written into the U.S. Constitution. The White House was built with slave labor. Your home state of South Carolina seceded from the Union, fought a war to defend the enslavement of black people. I understand you don't think America is a racist country now, but we're here at a college. Do you really think as a historical matter, America has never been a racist country?
I mean, think about what you're saying. First of all, I will tell you, when you look at, the Declaration of Independence, it was that, men are created equal with unalienable rights, right? That was what we all knew. But what I look at it as is I was a brown girl that grew up in a small rural town. We had plenty of racism that we had to deal with. But my parents never said we lived in a racist country.
Okay, so I was going to talk about it, babe, but you know what? It doesn't need to be talked about. Nimarata Nikki Randhawa Haley.
Father is a teacher at Voorhees.
Yes.
In South Carolina.
We know
historically black college.
I was going to talk about it, babe, but we don't even need to talk about it because it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous that you basically are hiding who you are to run for president of the United States.
She's not. She said, I'm a brown girl and we faced racism, but it's semantics.
This is semantics. Okay.
Because she's saying the country wasn't racist. Because if you look at the Constitution, and the Declaration of Independence and the words "all men" are okay on paper.
That's great.
On paper, it looks beautiful in the year 1801.
Except
It's
you,
like, wow,
right? Except
this
you,
young country that just got its independence in 1776 and all that. This country is a model for what this world should be. But we know the truth of it. And for
Yes.
me, and I'm not talking about politics because I have to stay away from politics because, you know, I'm a journalist
Yes.
and it has to be, you know, I don't talk about how people vote and all that kind of thing, and that's fine. But now now it's personal because I always say Nikki Haley, where she was from, Bamberg, South Carolina. My mother's from Charleston, South Carolina, and did not get her civil rights until she was 24 years old.
Come on now.
Based on what? Based on, it might not have been written down, and there's a difference between these two laws. And if there's a lawyer on here, help me out. But it's almost like when you just go along with it. So Jim Crow might not be on the books, though we know it was on the books, but if no restaurant allows you in, and if the culture is, and you have to come in the back door or whatever, there's a term for that society just you know, they just do it. Well, it's not on the book. So
but that was on the books. Whites only was on the books.
It was on the doors and all that. But I'm telling you, there is a term.
Yeah.
It's like the whole society just follows it. It's not necessarily here, but once whatever. All I know is Nikki Haley, if your family was in, I don't know if Bamberg was a sundown town or not, but
sure it was.
At the end of the day, you know what it is. And my thing is, it does such a disservice. If I wanted to vote for Nikki Haley, how can I, in good faith, do it without trampling on my ancestors, but not my ancestors, my parents, my uncles and aunts who are alive today, anybody, you know. So I have no room and no space for that. And I'm not talking politics. I'm talking about the fact that you can't do that. We've come too far. We are too intelligent to say that this country hasn't done a lot of growth and needed to do a lot of growth, period.
And ask the red man if this country is based on. Ask the red man.
They'll say that it's capitalism. They're taking it.
Okay,
I found it. They're taking it.
So I'm not going to talk about that.
I'm not talking about it.
And then I saw this, and I'm not going to talk.
Okay, so I saw The Color Purple, and I'm walking out to the car, and I will say this: it was a well-done movie. It was the singing, choreography is excellent, acting was good. If that's your type of movie, I was not in the target demographic of that movie because I'm a straight black male, and I don't think that men were represented very well. And obviously, I have an issue with the idea of black women and white men getting together and making movies that make black men look terrible. I'm not a fan of that. However, this movie does not document the relationship between black men and black women. It documents the relationship between feminists and lesbians and abusive men.
So Dr. Boyce Watkins, I was going to address that, but I'm not going to address that because, okay, so let me get this straight. Dr. Boyce Watkins. This movie is a story. There's 8 million stories in the Naked City. You watch this movie and your message that you got out of it, first of all, based on a book from 40 years ago, so it wasn't like a surprisingly new movie. The message you got about it was for feminists. So Celie, who was a woman who was raped as a child, who had no rights in her whole damn house, who was made to believe that she was ugly, useless, worthless. And in this movie, she learned how to love. Someone showed her how to love and get in touch with herself. And what your ass pulled from the movie was, oh, this is a feminist movie.
Yeah. A man-hating feminist.
And you know what, babe?
And there were positive black men in that movie.
And in fact, the character arc.
I want to see that.
So
Mr. Character.
I wasn't going to focus on this.
If y'all have seen the movie.
I wasn't going to focus on this, babe. Obviously,
hey, Kendrick Lee.
That's my setup.
Hi, Rebecca.
That's my setup. But what I thought about, babe, was This is what I thought of.
What's the matter? Why are you getting emotional now?
I'll tell you. Because what I thought about all this conversation with these, like the Dr. Boyce, whatever, of the world, right? I was raised by a single Black woman, right? And I'm getting emotional because 2 doors down, my friend Kounry had a father that was much like Mr., who came home, Richard. When he came home, everything in the house changed. I was there visiting. When he came home, I had to get my ass out of there because this dude who beat up Corey's mom and beat up these damn kids and had them frightened to death was home. And what I thought about, babe, was my mom, who, Jackie, I never saw my mom fight, but let me tell you something. I'll tell you somebody who wasn't afraid of Richard and would not put up with that bullshit. And when he even saw her, he would not even look at her because he knew that you do not fuck with her or her son. You can be as crazy you want to be down here, but Jackie ain't going to allow that.
We should have put it in the explicit language.
And so that's why I got emotional, because I was thinking about, you hear these stupid conversations about masculinity and feminine and women and what's the word, the dirty word they are?
Feminism.
Feminism. And I thought about this weak ass dude who was a monster, and those poor kids that had to go through that. And I thought about how my mom protected me. I never had to witness that craziness of any man being in this household being a terror, because she wasn't going to stand for it. But a lot of people don't have that option. And so what I was really going to focus on, babe, was your parents. Because what I was going to say is everybody has a microphone now. Everybody has, including someone you expect more from, a Dr. Boyce Watkins.
Wow.
Everybody has a microphone.
Right.
But what I realized was, when you are raised by greatness and you see greatness, the way you look at life is different. And I thought about when we went out, our first dates, and I meet your parents, and we go out to an Indian restaurant, simple Indian restaurant, and you guys introduced me to Black Orpheus and your love of Black Orpheus, the movie. I was familiar with Black Orpheus, the music, the jazz. Mm-hmm. And I thought about, we were raised by greatness.
Yes.
So this BS that you see all these people who I expect more out of, if you're a doctor, or if you're a teacher, or if you're an instructor, we were raised by greatness. So our view of things is different, because that old BS about don't take me to no blank restaurant. I thought about all that BS. Here I had this jewel right here, and we went on dates, and sometimes we went Dutch. Sometimes I paid, sometimes you paid. I never bought you no damn Birkin bag or no crazy stuff as we were dating each other, because we were trying to get to know each other and love each other. That's what it's about. It's not about all this conversation that's on social media so much, Mm-hmm. And it just made me so. And then back to that movie, Color Purple. This has been around forever. It made me even look it up, because I know he even has a whole thing where he's talking about the black white thing. First of all, directed by Blitz Bazawale, probably an African brother. Screenplay, Marcus Garley, a Black brother. Produced by Quincy Jones, Oprah Winfrey, Black, Steven Spielberg, and Scott, two white guys. Written by Alice Walker. Man, it's a story.
Let's be clear. It's a story that is based in reality. It is a story that sadly, because I believe when I was watching it, it felt like the same thing, the same oppression that Black people had to go through in, I think the movie started in in 1909 or something. That same thing, I believe that the frustrations felt by the outside world were brought home. If the Black man was out there working, and is not he takes his aggressions out, what he can't do, what he can't say when his boss treats him a certain way, he comes home and he takes it out on his family or whatever the dynamic is. When I was watching that, my sense was, this is a real story, because I don't know how many times we have to hear stories about women who, what Sophie said, all her life she had to fight. She had to fight her daddy. She had to fight, and I don't know where this comes from. It's not been my experience, but it is the story of so many women today in our community, and goodness knows back in the day when when something happened and the little girl has to grow up really fast and it's a stain on our families. Now, I do believe that we talked about it. And you said that it was one of the remnants of slavery, the family dynamic and all of that. The bottom line is, who's going to tell the story of a person, a real person like who Miss Seeley was? Or a real person like who Suge Avery stood for, and her openness, her fluidness with her sexuality, I believe was a metaphor for her going out into the world and not being constrained by that small town that was too small to hold her, right?
Yes.
And but then we see her, she gets herself a good man. She has a beautiful home. She's married in the end, but he didn't see that. We see Mr., like you said, have that arc. Get Nettie from overseas, bring her back, understand the era of his ways, and be better. By the end of that movie, because I think Mr. Daddy is probably dead at that point. By the end of that movie, it's peace and love. We have come this far. Seeley's wearing pants. Beautiful metaphor. She's out of that that dress that we
have to be.
Right. She is who she is. So for him to see that, he just want to say something. And everybody just wants, if the movie's not for you, I feel like this. I feel like when I saw Precious in the movie theater, I remember people laughing. People in our skin folk laughing in inappropriate times.
Oh my God, because they don't know how to handle their emotion.
The emotion. Or in one of my favorite movies, What's Love Got to Do with It? The Tina Turner story, laughing at the scene that she is assaulted in the recording booth. If you laughing at that because we don't know how to deal with it, because so many people have gone through that themselves. So it's pain, it's hurt, but it's dangerous when you speak out like that. Because that means you don't want to hear the story of all of the women who make up a Miss Seeley in history. So, okay, well, we ain't going to talk about that either.
Right. So I'm not going to talk about it.
But you know what? You were raised by a good woman. You were raised by a woman who said, you're not going to see this in my house. I'm not going to bring every dude in here that might be a bad guy and might do, you know what I'm saying? And so God bless.
I thought about it. I hadn't thought about it, but that's what made me think about it was I thought about my mom, because again, that was her. She's not going to, and that's not a feminine, that whole feminist thing. I was thinking my mom used to always say, people would see my mom raise me. Oh, Jackie, you did a good job with him. Oh, Jackie. Oh, you're the mama and the daddy. She said, no. I'm not the mama and the daddy. I am a woman.
Yes.
If I would love to have a man in my life, so I don't have to do everything.
It's like that Sojourner Truth. Ain't I a woman? Don't treat me like, you know. Anyways, so that's what's on your mind?
That was mine.
Just joking.
You know what, Allison?
Yeah. Okay, once the negative started coming up, felt like a snowball. I'm one who misunderstanding the negativity. Yeah. All right. So speaking of that was what's on your mind.
Woo! I need a drink.
What's on my mind is weirdly connected to that.
Uh-huh.
I made a really bold statement.
Okay. Where?
I said if Fantasia Barrino, and she goes by her married name on social media, but if Fantasia was not nominated for Best Actress in a major motion picture for The Color Purple for her portrayal of Seeley, where now I'm sure it was body doubles, but where she was a physical actor when she was getting knocked around and all that kind of stuff. I looked at that again. There's a scene where it's hard to watch, but when Mr. slaps her and she falls into the thing, I'm sure it was a body double, a stunt person, but she was a physical actor. The emotion on her face, that little baby face Fantasia has, can make you cry. And she sang her entire backside off. Okay.
And that's prominent.
And I said if she was not nominated for an Oscar, that I was never watching the Oscars again. And guess what? She wasn't nominated for she wasn't nominated. The woman who played Sophia, she was nominated.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't vocalize it, but I said if Taraji wasn't nominated for Best Supporting, I was done. And guess what? I'm done.
You're done.
I'm done.
All
and
right.
That's in spite of the fact that my old friend from high school, DC native Jeffrey Wright,
and
has been nominated for I think his movie American Fiction got like 5 nominations, I think.
Yeah.
And so
Amazing.
he got a Best Actor nomination and Best Picture. I think Sterling K. Brown got
Yeah.
Best Supporting.
Danielle
and
Brooks from Color Purple.
Danielle Brooks, she was amazing. I'm so happy for her. So yeah, but what's his name? Boyce Watkins?
Yes.
Okay, Boyce, you got your wish, because besides the phenomenal Danielle Brooks, the movie was
amazing.
Basically, where was the movie? So
She was amazing.
So that was it. But so that's it. I'm done. I said it in my heart. Like you have said before that you're no longer going to be a football fan, and now you're rooting for your Ravens, which you should.
What?
But
yeah, you're right. I'm back at it.
Maybe I'll be back in a couple of years, but I just can't do it. I can't do it. Like, no shade to all of the nominees, and beautiful. Everybody works hard in Hollywood. I get it, whatever. But I hear you, Taraji P. Henson and Viola Davis. And I think Viola was also snubbed. I thought I saw that going around. I don't know what movie she was in, but she always kills it. I'm just done. I'm done because it was. But here's the thing though, and weigh in, family, because when I posted that I was disappointed that Fantasia was not, Tony, I'm done. When I posted that I was so disappointed and I worded my post carefully, because I don't want someone. Well, what about Emma Stone in that one movie? Are you not going to say anything? Because I get pushback because it reminds me of a comment that I got years ago when I just made a comment. I swear it was not a big comment, because sadly I've been programmed like this. Yeah. Michelle Obama had on a suit, and I was just like, Michelle Obama, you wearing this, whatever I said. And it wasn't even that. The email, I will never forget it. Yeah, I get it. You're a Black woman and all that, but do you have to really go on and on about Michelle Obama?
Wow. Damn.
I said one thing, but so people are they're waiting. So yeah, I gave love to all the nominees.
Oh my gosh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, I gave love to all the nominees, but I'm just gonna say it. The gravitas of that movie, I think Fantasia deserved a nomination, but surprise, I got a lot of people on my Facebook post saying, no, I don't think she did. And so, some good conversation, I didn't think her acting was up to par, or I thought other people did better. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay. And I'm not going to argue. That's a part of my thing.
I'm not arguing. I'm not going to argue.
No Jade, justify, argue, defend, and explain. I'm not doing that. But still, however, I was really surprised. People thought that she,
I mean, we saw.
I don't know.
We're not going to go into it.
That was what was on my mind.
Baby,
I'm not
sorry.
watching the Oscars anymore.
I got another one too on my mind. Sorry, babe. It's the 2 on the mark.
And Veronica, thank you for the Danielle Brooks. I love her and I know her, and she was amazing as Sophia.
And babe, I know you hate when I say this, but Jeffrey Wright was Allison's first boyfriend. Give it up.
Well, let's talk about your first girlfriend. Let's talk about your first girlfriend.
Wow. Okay. So, babe.
Do you think
I had this? Maybe
I'm doing it for his privacy. Like maybe he doesn't want it. You know what I'm saying?
I just love to brag on you, and he's amazing. He's one of my favorite actors. But anyway, so another one, babe. This one now. Do not look, guys. Our 1 million followers. Do not make this a viral video, because I'm not hating on anybody, right? But I'm a radio guy. I bleed radio. I bleed airwaves, right? So I was just listening today to Amanda Seales' new radio show.
Don't say anything bad about my girl.
I'm not. Amanda Seales. I had an epiphany. So Amanda Seales has a show. So all the people who weren't in radio who now have shows that are syndicated, of course, Steve Harvey, comedian, Ricky Smiley, D.L. Hughley, Amanda Seales, and whatever. So radio.
Steve Harvey.
Did you say that? I said that. Radio is, they're going syndicated because they're down. Rouse Trevsvant. Right. I heard that commercial too during listening to her show. So this was the epiphany. For those who don't know, in this market, Donnie Simpson signed off, I believe, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Donnie Simpson.
After 55 years in radio.
A tearful goodbye to Donnie Simpson, one of the monsters. Heroes, legend in radio, specifically Black radio. And what I thought of, babe, was here's the tea. Not the tea. Here's the take.
What's the tea?
This is where the black radio and radio got it wrong, right? So podcasts are now blowing up. In fact, we got a clip from Shannon Sharp, which is going to be one of our podcast clips of the week. Blowing up, right?
Hi, Joseph.
These shows, the beauty of the podcast as a broadcaster, majored in and television radio broadcasting, was in it for 30 plus years as a broadcaster. When celebrities started getting into the field, your part of your ego says, hey, what can they do that I can't do? And I'm trained in this. I got my degree in this. I know the ins and outs of this. I will say this, though. Shannon Sharp's a prime example. Hey, man, a Hall of Famer talking to a Hall of Famer is more entertaining than a Hall of Famer talking about Clarke. I'm sorry, why? Because they're friends. You know what I mean? And so that space, I'm like, wow, I have to honestly say, I'm on to these podcasts with these celebrities because I really enjoy it because they get to talk to these people that we admire like they're friends because they are friends, right? Now, the thing about radio that's so funny is the stars that are on radio never really did that. They never had Steve Harvey talking to Said that much, or you know what I mean, or Ricky Smiley talk. It was almost like that was a missed opportunity because that's what you're bringing. Because the other part you are not bringing. You're not plugging in the local people. You're not making them heroes. When I had a show, we had a play that plugged in the landmarks and the people in Baltimore. You know what I mean? That's something we sang about the Baltimore Ravens. So radio missed the boat because, as great as all these new shows are, there's no local connection. You're a celebrity that we know, but whatever you're bringing, you're almost doing a version. And the irony of it all, DL, Steve Harvey, Ricky Smiley. Ricky did do radio when he was a comedian. The irony of it all was they did bits that they used to love us that we did on our show. Yeah. That love letter or whatever they do, the strawberry letter. Yeah, that was great. Been around for 50 years. But anyway, radio missed the boat. Podcast, they got it.
Cookies in the building.
And so that was my
hey, Cookie.
And then sending love to Donnie, who ain't been nothing. Let me tell you something. When I was dating Allison Seymour in St. Louis, Missouri, when we would visit Allison, if we were back in the morning, she would scamper to the radio, baby. I got to hear Donnie sign off.
Yeah.
I got to hear Donnie Simpson sign off. That's what radio is about, right? And so for that to be gone is heartbreaking.
Well, babe, it's just we're in the state of change right now. You know what I mean? We're in everything is changing. And I feel sort of fortunate for some of the things. Like we didn't grow up with these, right? Nope. We didn't grow up with these. And now, we're on the cusp of, now we've been in it, for like about 15 years, the phones have been really strong, social media,
it's here,
and all that stuff. And so as that comes in, some of the intimacy of radio or the way that people get their information, because radio was really like, like the network, the black buzz. Something's going on something's going on 125th Street, and somebody's on the radio talking about it because you might not have been, you were not on television, and you definitely weren't pinpointing what was happening in wherever in Harlem or or Queens or whatever. So radio was that network even more so than TV. And I actually feel the same way about when I see the celebrities with these beautiful talk shows, because God knows that is my dream.
Amen.
It is my dream to sit and talk with interesting people and to be able to laugh and to spread good things that are happening in the community. A lot of that I was able to do on Fox 5 because we were on so long, and that's why I will be eternally grateful to Fox. I have nothing bad to say about the people that I worked with or what it was, especially back in the day, because it allowed me to grow who I am.
Yeah.
And if anybody knows me in DC, it's because I was able to talk about some of those things. But I get it when I see celebrities with the shows, the Drew Barrymores, the J Huds, who else had a show? Somebody else.
Kelly Clarkson,
and all those people. I'm like, wow, I wish that, but I get it, because if a viewer is watching, then the person who puts it on is getting a twofer. Because we love Kelly Clarkson. Oh my God, she's got on like Fantasia Barrino, both on American Idol, and there's that connection. Jennifer Hudson. So yeah, I get it. But okay. Well, you got that off your chest, son?
Got that off my chest. And so speaking of that, we'll segue right into, babe. I mentioned the clip. So on Shannon
Scotty,
Sharp.
thank you.
Shannon
From
Sharp
your lips to God's ears.
has
Scotty said I'd be fabulous on a talk show.
Scotty,
so if you know someone, holla at your girl. Okay.
So Shannon Sharp, who's had after this interview with Cat Williams, which is now over 50 million views, which is crazy. He's had, he had Kounry Wayne on. Now, for those who don't know Kounry Wayne is a comedian who started off, speaking of what we're talking about, on the platform doing skits on Facebook, Instagram, right?
And that's what I'm talking about. We are in a state of influencers are making more, I think Annie just told me, than some like physicians now.
Some physicians, all
physicians. So this is what it is.
Yes.
And we're sort of stuck in this old thing because we can't really be wild. Like I would love to be on here and
we can just be ourselves and get there, baby.
Exactly how I feel about some things.
Well,
rewind and let's talk about all of it that we talked about before.
But you never know. You never know. But thanks to our wonderful audience of thousands,
we're manifesting.
We're thousands of people. So Shannon's hot. This interview with Kounry Wayne. Shout out to the 90
people who are in the room, though. So
that's right. Shout out to y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you.
Share, follow, and like. So Shannon, this interview with Kounry Wayne, which was I think last week, has like 4 million views. So he's killing it. And
that's one show. You need a breakout.
He's got Uncle Ocho, which is brand new, which is approaching 1 million subscribers.
Let me tell you something. This man, when I come in the house, this is what this man is watching.
It's Club Shay Shay.
And so you're fueling the fire.
No, I like it. It's good. It's good. I'm learning. We're learning. And so Kounry Wayne, again, I think the story, if you guys don't know who this guy is, many people watch his skits, millions watch his skits.
Yeah.
But he's made himself a comedian, started off at that, and then he started touring, paying for his own tour. His background, his mother died at 10. His family was into selling drugs. He became a drug dealer. He has, I think, over 10 children by multiple women. But the difference, I think from 14 to like he said 20, I think he said the cutoff was like 25. He had all these kids, right?
Okay.
The difference is all of them are taken care of. All the baby mamas have homes. All the baby mamas get taken care of. He's like, I give them all the money. And so this was the clip from the show. I thought it was great because me and Babe talk about this.
CL said, damn.
Me and Babe talk about business and stuff all the time. He has a great point one time. He said, if you notice, they lock up the kingpins because kingpins, the drug guys, because they're gonna flip it. They're gonna make money. He said a murderer will get out quicker than a king because they know that he's gonna get to the money. He's gonna get to the bag. And so this is our clip of the week from Club Shay Shay with Kounry Wayne.
How much to take care of your monthly expenses just with the kids and the kids' mom?
Just with the kids and just with the kids.
Not your expenses, not with you, because you got to live also. But you got to make sure they straight.
Okay.
So what's that expense?
Okay, not count my family or nothing.
Not counting your family, just the kids and the kids' mom.
Just with them, probably 100. You know what I'm saying? Just with the baby mamas, not count my family, and not count me. That's about 100. About 100 a month.
So, but if you throw your family in there and throw you in there, that's probably another 100 on top of that.
That's 200. It's 200 with 100. Hold up. No, it's 300 with me. It's 300. It's 200 and 100 for me. You know what I mean? It's 200 for my family, my kids.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I write my brother a check for $160 a month to pay everybody. And then the credit, they spend about 40 a month on their credit cards. 200 a month just for family and kids.
Okay, Kounry Wayne, give me everything that you really want in a woman to be by your side. Let's just say you're looking for a wife. Give me some of the attributes, some of the traits. What must she have, and what can she do to make sure she's with Kounry Wayne moving forward?
Love herself more than she loved me. I want a woman who's so involved in herself that she become better every day.
Okay.
And make herself happy.
Okay.
That's what I want, because I tell a woman, man, and it ain't even a woman. It's with your kids, relationships, business. You cannot give nobody more than what you got in you. If you think you are, you pulling from somewhere else in you and that's what called stress. That's what called anxiety, because you stretching the rope too hard.
Right.
Man, if you work on you enough,
right,
you're gonna be alert on other things.
Right.
So I just, it's like finding greatness in yourself. When you be great, you see the greatness in everybody. Like when people ask me about comedians, I tell people, man, all comedians funny. I never met a comedian who wasn't funny to me.
Right.
Now, it might be to a different crowd or whatever, but so when I meet a woman, man, love you. I'm gonna help you and love you more. Whatever you need to help yourself. So that means you might just drink more water. I tell her, come on now, you can at least drink water now. If you ain't drunk enough water during the day.
Right.
That's easy to do.
Correct.
Now, I understand some things you can't do. You might got trauma, but water?
Right. You can get that.
That's 99% of the problem.
Right. You blew up on social media. How much money do you think you made through social media?
Through social media, probably a dub. Probably about just social media. Probably about 20 million last 3 years. That's when I really started monetizing.
Telling jokes, huh? And skits.
It's some skits, man. It's storylines. I was telling jokes at first.
Need a partner?
Yeah, it look like you're doing fine. I tell you what.
Okay, so Kounry Wayne, I'm making a little change on the side. It's gonna happen, babe. 20 million.
I know what you need to do.
Every
You better
month.
get on them damn skits.
20 million.
Okay.
20 million. 20
20
million every.
some jokes.
So his
Get on this
expenses.
social media.
So if you have bad expenses, just think, hey, at least you're not Kounry Wayne. What's that? You said 300,000 a month. The expenses are 300,000 a month.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, now I feel better.
And so you're making about, just on that alone, you're making about 10 million a month. So 10 million a month and your expenses are 300,000. That's not bad.
I simply still do not know how the internet thing works with making $10 million.
So for instance,
you can tell me offline.
Well,
because it's too much to get into, and I got my history points to
Okay,
get
I'll
to.
share quickly that
Okay.
50 million they say the 50 million that Shannon, those 50 million views that he has basically has netted him just on YouTube with the ads they put in it about $750,000. So that's
Okay.
kind of like an idea. All right, so we're doing history.
Well, so you firmly know how to do it.
Hmm?
You know how to do it.
Yes, we just need more people watching. We need about 2 million more people
Okay.
watching. We need actually we don't need that many, baby.
Well, long live Kounry Wayne and
we just need 100
and J Hud and Kim Kardashian.
we
and
just
all
need
that.
100. I'm sorry, we need 1,900,000 more people, and we good to go.
Okay.
All right.
I talked to a friend today, and my friend shared this.
Oh,
My friend shared that
we're bringing us in, baby. You're luring us in. Yes.
there are 7 things that you need. And if you have those 7 things, then you're good. And to be grateful for these 7 things, because everything else, like all the money and how you see people flexing and all that, is just almost designed to divide us. And that whole money thing and that wealth thing is a social construct, because not a lot of people get there, which is funny about platforms like social media, because I think it's leveling the playing field. So I don't know how long they're going to let it go on.
Right.
But so these are the 7 things. And if you have these 7 things, be grateful. Anything else is, you ready for what they are?
I'm writing them down.
They said heat, water, shelter, clothing, food, a way to take care of your health. So health insurance or, that kind of thing. And can you guess what the last one is?
Love.
Companionship.
Yeah.
And if you have those 7 things, then you're doing okay. Everything else is gravy.
All right.
Isn't
I
that
like
something?
that, babe. Was that history? That's
Huh?
just a note.
No, that was just, that was some
Nice.
knowledge that I got dropped.
From a friend.
Yeah. 'Cause I
Nice.
guess I sounded stressed out, and they said, you just need these 7. Do you have these 7 things?
Did they give you a drink?
No.
I love it. That does put it all in perspective.
Puts it in perspective. Did you wake up today and you were warm? Yeah. Do I have a roof over my head? Yeah, I do. Do you have a way, if you get sick, a way to take care of your ailments or a way to get checked? Yeah. Ran through them. Do you have the love of your family and friends and a good husband? In this case, yeah.
Aw.
So shut up and stop complaining. Don't sweat the small stuff, basically.
Nice, babe. That
All
was
right.
a bar.
So here we go.
Yes.
This is your history moment. History moment. I gotta figure out a
Charlene.
name. Anybody out there, give me a name. So basically, as a Black woman,
Seal
I
to the
pretty
rib sandwich
much
from Ebony Inn. Quit playing.
seventh. Yep. Okay. What is that thing that you need? Hey, hit us in the comments. What if you had to just have two things? Let's take away of course the food. Let's take away food, shelter, and water. So if you had to have two more things essential to your soul and essential to you, you had to give up everything else. But what are those two things? Let us know, because that's interesting. That was one viewpoint. 7 things that humans need. That humans need to survive. That humans need to thrive. Okay. So my history moment, hit me up with as a Black woman, what I love history, and what really I love is American history, and I love Black history as a Black American. That's what I find very interesting. Though I love all history, I especially love that. So we need a name for my history segment. It's going to be brief. Here's my question to you.
Yes,
Have you heard of the sit-ins of the 1960s and the 50s?
Yeah.
The sit-ins.
Yeah.
You learned about it in school?
Yeah.
You know about it. Everybody knows about it. Have you ever heard of the Wade-ins? WADE-ins.
No.
There it is.
It's the pool.
This concept is just like the sit-ins, but it has to do with the beaches and the pools in the United States.
Come on now.
This took place mainly in the 50s and the 60s. There are some very big cases of this. One of the big ones is in Biloxi, Mississippi. Okay. Now I'm going to take y'all to the belly of the beast. We're talking Biloxi, Mississippi, back in the old days of segregation. And these scary as hell. And these brave, mostly young people, this is what we see, right? Just think of the sit-ins, but in water. They waded in Biloxi, Mississippi beaches. They were peaceful protests that, of course, were often met with violence from those who did not want beaches to be open to everybody. They were met with arrest from the protesters who were just trying to go into the ocean. You hear me? The ocean. In 1968, we were born in 1966, Nikki Haley. In 1968 is when the Justice Department finally won a battle for these segregated beaches in Mississippi to be open to all in 1968. Another case, and this picture is very, this picture has been seen a lot. What's that word? It's famous. Thank you. Famous picture and this will break your heart, in St. Augustine, Florida. Now, St. Augustine is a very old, I think it might be the oldest. Maybe you want to look it up. The oldest city would become a city in the United States, down in Florida. Yeah. They not only did this, young people did not only do this in beaches across the South, but they also did this in pools. And there's a very famous picture, and I wish we could pull it up. I know we can't really do it on the fly, of these young Black people in a pool, because this was pools and beaches, right? This was a whole thing. He was in a pool, and there is the manager of whatever it was, the hotel, pouring acid into the pool.
Come on now.
And the psychology behind it, because I was like, why are you so angry?
They put acid in the pool.
There's a famous picture of it. And why are you so angry? And then somebody explained that swimming in the ocean and pools was seen as a leisurely thing to do. People who had, a certain degree of, not even wealth, because there were always public pools and all this, but just a certain degree of time to just relax and whatever in a pool or at the beach. People thought they were the majority thought that they were the ones entitled to that. And how dare you put your body into this, and I have to be in here with you. So the wade-in, think of the sit-ins, look it up for yourself. They were called wade-ins. And it was because of these movements, people, young Black people, usually with their out bathing suits on, going and steadfast, trying to go into the ocean. They knew what it was. and getting this fierce resistance. Very frightening, because if that crowd wanted to, I mean, you're in water. They could just invulnerable. Mm. But they did it until finally this court case in 1968 got those beaches integrated. So thank you. So I cannot let it, not on my watch, will someone say that this country didn't have a lot to get over, and the stain on it was racism, still is racism. So that's my history moment. Check it out. Yeah. The bottom line is, because I always want it to be uplifting at the end, the bottom line is because of these young people and their steadfast determination to enjoy, first of all, nature, but also because of them, we are where we are today. And so that's the uplifting part, because it always seems so tragic, the history, but we'll have some other ones, but there's your history moment. Look it up. The Wade ends. I never heard about it before today.
It was 1565.
Yeah, St. Augustine was.
We did the visit.
St. Augustine was, and there was an older Black woman who said, when I go to St. Augustine, I still feel. I can still feel it. Like I still get an eerie feeling, because she was involved in those wade-ins back then.
So, babe, the 7 things you mentioned. Mm-hmm. So CL Redden said his rib sandwich from the Ebony Inn. CL, where is the Ebony Inn? Because that sounds delicious, but I can't eat. I'm not eating meat in 2024. We got Sandra Stewart says health.
Yep.
Cynthia Elaine.
Yep. That's what. Yep. Companionship.
Niecy Fox.
Human touch. Companion. Yep.
Charlene Fisher, touch. Mm-hmm. AC Key was saying, "Wow!"
He was saying, "Wow!" To the wade ends. I'm just Charlene. I love it too. History, Black history.
Alice, what's up, Miss Alice?
Okay. The county pool. Blacks were denied access. A man that was in charge said only over his dead body would be allowed in the pool. Unfortunately, someone in his family drowned in the pool.
Alice knows his history. She lived it.
Unfortunately, somebody drowned in the pool. Now the kicker is, I wonder if
Lord Jesus.
I wonder if he ever, all that hatred, did it come back on him? Did he think about that for a second after that happened? We don't want to see anything like that happen, but
why do you feel like probably not?
Yeah. Okay, well, let's lighten it up. How you want to get out of here?
You want to ask Allison real quick?
Let's do a quick Ask Allison.
Okay, we don't have our music today, but it's okay.
So we stay on so long. It's 47 minutes. All our people have gone to eat dinner and everything. Thank you to
our loyals.
The 60 people who are still in the room.
That's right. Our loyals are with us. Prayer and religion, Valerie. That's right, then. Dear Allison, I'm a happily married man with an amazing...
That is a good one. That could be number 8. But yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm a happily married man with an amazing family. I've been married for over 10 years and have 3 lovely kids. Here's my issue.
10 years.
When me and the wife are out with friends, my wife tries too hard.
Aww.
If someone tells a joke, she tells a joke. And usually it's not funny. When someone tells a story, she tells a story. She's so beautiful and great, but it seems like she feels like she has to prove she's interesting, but she doesn't have to. She is interesting. She's super sensitive and would be offended and hurt if I said anything.
Yeah.
Help, Allison.
Oh, just let her tell her little jokes. It's too much. It's not worth it, child. Just let her tell her little jokes. And whatever if they do a little dance, she do a little dance. You know what I'm saying? Just let her do it. Because there's just no easy way. There's just no easy way. I mean, babe, that's my thing. I'm sorry. I don't have a better answer.
Babe,
do you have a better answer?
Did you just give me a musical cue?
Yes.
There's no easy way to break somebody's heart.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. You were not impressed with that, were you? Wow. Oh, babe. 23 years of marriage.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking about his dilemma, because it's bad. It's like, I mean, that's her personality. Like, and if you say, honey, it's okay. She might not even know what she's talking about. And she's trying to be like a little part of the group. Couples date. Yeah.
The funny part is, if it's reversed.
What do you say?
If it's reversed, wives have no problem telling their husband that, because I guess we're men. Honey, calm down. But you can't really tell your wife to. Women do not want to hear that kind of truth. They do not. Y'all ain't equipped for that now.
Yeah, I definitely.
Veronica said, "What's the dilemma?"
So the dilemma is, Veronica, when the wife goes, he loves his wife, but when they go out with other couples, she just is on. She's pretty extra and is trying to match the energy, but it is off and is awkward. And what can he say something to her to make it right? I feel like that's just her personality. I mean, she's an adult.
So Veronica, when somebody tell a joke, she gonna tell a joke. Somebody try to tell a story, she gonna tell a story. He's like, honey. He just must be like, you don't have to do that, you know. So Veronica,
because what's going to start happening is that other couple, whoever, is going to get tired of it.
Unless they love you and they just be like, you know how? Well, you know what? It's like people at church. People at church, they kind of have the people that you know what they're going to do every Sunday,
just let them
and just be like, okay,
just let them do it.
All right.
I promise. Okay, here's what we're saying before.
See, CL, you play too much.
CL needs to be the third podcast member. He's the comedian.
Babe, can you say it like your man said it? He said he should be happy he had a good wife because P. Diddy be wanting to party.
Yeah,
you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no because he be wanting to party.
What Pat said?
Yes.
Yeah,
he be wanting to party. You got to tell him no.
Yeah.
CL, that's
you
hilarious.
Got to tell him no. Yeah.
How do you send? You know what? I put it in here.
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
Okay, so as Mark is putting the address in for Ask Allison, I promised I would tell another awkward truth that happened in our relationship. Remember, I said I was going to say that last week. So speaking of,
send your letters to immedia66@gmail.
Speaking of doing too much.
Oh, hold on, Alice. She said, "What's up, cuz?"
Ask her permission to critique, and if that's not a bad idea. Like, hey, can I tell you something? Because, and I would say, I want to talk to you about something that's pretty sensitive, but sometimes it feels like, and you don't have to do that. Nope, don't do it. Bad idea, Harold. I'm sorry.
Harold been married. That's my cousin. He been married forever. Harold, how long you been married? Go ahead, babe.
I'm sorry. Okay, before we get out of here, what did we say we're going to say?
That's my cousin.
Stories told. What did we say we were going to call it?
You said
real stories. Yeah. Anyway, as a married couple, married for this year will be 24 years. So when we came back to DC and it was time to put our girls in dance school, I went to Jones Hayward School of Dance in DC.
Oh, I forgot this.
And the beautiful soul, I shouldn't have said the name now, people don't know who it is.
Tell
the
it all,
beautiful soul who it runs the school now. When I was a kid, I quit because I wasn't used to people speaking to me in a harsh way.
And how old were you when you quit, babe?
I was 5. And ballet can be
5.
Ballet can be harsh, and but the thing is, it's like if it's done in a constructive way, it sets you up for I think greatness and determination, and and whatever happens, just let it roll off your back. So anyway, long story short, when I had told Mark this story, and when he met the woman who had told me when I was 5.
Now wait a minute. Now you told Mark this story, but this you didn't just tell me the story. This was a story you told many times. This was a thing.
Yeah, this was a thing.
A moment in life. Now, granted, you were 5.
A moment in life when I was told, and ballet moms or ballet people or anything like this, sports, I was told that if I did not do this thing right, that the lady said that she was going to break my leg, and she had a pointer. If you don't do it, she wasn't gonna break my. I didn't know that though. Like if somebody says they're gonna break your leg, then. And I remember going into the car as a 5-year-old, getting into the car with my dad, and I said to him, "Papa, I'm never going back." And he said, well, "Okay." And that was and that was it. But in my child's mind, I was like, if I tell him this, then he's gonna walk in there and have words, and then my daddy's gonna get arrested. And I love my daddy too much, so I'm gonna keep it inside. So anyway, this story, blah blah blah. So when it came time to put Sydney in dance, she's now 23. The management had changed a little bit, and so we put her in the same dance school. It's an historic Black dance school in DC. I love what it stands for and all that. Well, the lady who told me that actually came back as the director. And when Mark met her, he told her that story that, yeah, my wife went here, but you said that you were going to break her leg. And so she never came back. And she was like, I didn't say that. No. And so that's how
she didn't say that.
I thought she said that.
She didn't say I didn't say that.
Oh, I thought, okay, well, maybe to me she said that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Marc came home and told me that, I said, and I was mortified. I was so devastated because I'm a non-confrontational person for the most part. And then I had to go in here and face it, and we had to have a sit down. And she said, well, Marc told me that when you were a little girl, you were here. And I said, and she said, well, I could not believe that I said that. And I said, but you did say that, because it was that moment in my life.
Yes.
Okay. It was that moment. But I was upset with you.
Yes.
Because
Yes,
that was not for you, in my mind, to tell her.
Yes.
And it was just so, and it's not a flattering thing for her to hear that she addressed a child like that. And you would not do that now. But back in the 70s, that I guess you did that more so. It was different then. Kids were still getting spanked in elementary school. I know, because my dad was a principal and he was spanking kids. But yeah, so I was really mad at you.
I know.
And I don't know what happened that I got over that with you. Do you remember?
You're just the best in the world.
So I just got over it.
But let me say this, and I'll tell you why.
I'm going to tell you how the story ends, but yeah.
I'm going to tell you why I did it. Because my baby was going to this school.
Okay, well, you never told me this.
And
had you told me this in the beginning.
And what's not going to happen is she's not going to get her legs broken, and she's not going to be told she's going to get her legs broken. So I said it because I know what you did. I know what you did. I know what you did in the past. So I'm aware. And so I'm going to deal with people, you know what I mean? So
but was there ever any time where could it have been said without putting my name in it?
No, it needed to be in there, because basically,
but now it's going to make me
her words
have to deal. I'm the one who's going to have to deal with her.
It's okay. It was going to be okay, because it's our baby. And so our daughter's
right. But had we been on the same page, perhaps
you would have never wanted. You're non-confrontational. You would have never. Okay, you would have never wanted to do it.
Let me ask you this: now that we are away from it,
yes,
would it have been, in your opinion? Because I think it would have been better, in my opinion, for you to say, "I know you have talked about this. Can we either go together, or I'm going to say that I know that this school used to be this way.
Yeah.
Can I bring it up because I'm about to put you in it?"
Yeah, that would have been better.
Okay. So that's a breakthrough. Now that's 24 years of marriage. That's how you communicate. Give me some. That's how you do it.
Better. Yeah.
So end of the story though, before we get out of here, Sydney loved it. She was under the tutelage of this woman. Now this woman had changed and softened, and she's an excellent teacher.
She's amazing.
Excellent teacher. Sydney flourished, right? And Sydney went through some hard times to get on point, to do. She excelled. The only reason she ever stopped going to the dance school was because she started dancing in her high school and then danced at Hampton with the band. And even though I was mad at you at the time for it, I had to sit down and talk to this woman face to face. Now it's woman to woman. You ain't dealing with a 5-year-old anymore who is scared to death and who quit ballet because of what happened. See this emotion coming up? This is how much it means to me. So when I was forced to confront it and perhaps was not ready to do that, that was the emotion that I was feeling. But because I loved ballet, I ended up doing something else. I went into modern dance and with Miss Sarah Day at Adams Community School. But I had to sit there, and what I told her was this. I said, thank you. Because of that, there's some moments in my life, because of that, because of pledging Delta Sigma Theta, because of we moved around a lot, because of these hard experiences, it made me the woman I am today. So I thanked her. Although I was not in agreement with her methods at that time, I thanked her for doing it because it made me stronger. It made me the woman that I am today, able to face these moments, and to not take some of it personally, but also it just made me tougher. So ultimately, thank you.
Well, thank you, baby. And again, I apologize.
That time, I was
because like you said, what I was saying, what I should say to you.
Y'all. And that's a true story
What I used
from
to
the
say,
marriage vault.
What I used to say was, these people, like football coaches, this is what they do. They said,
Oh,
they
yeah,
said that
I just didn't
to
know that.
the men people.
I just did not. I
So,
just didn't.
I
My
don't know.
parents were peace and love. I think the last spanking that I ever got was when I was like, and it wasn't, it was like on the hand from my dad, like when I was 3 years old. And then, because all he had to do was look at me.
Yeah.
And I would, because I love them so much, I didn't want to disappoint them. But this was not our household. So when I was told that, I believe that was going to happen.
Yeah.
And it didn't resonate with me. But yeah, we got over it.
So it was funny. One of my interns' wife. So now, years later, Sydney was at the school. Our daughters went to school.
Charlene.
And she went to the school, and the young lady we're talking about, and I said, "Oh, I heard she's softened."
Charlene.
So when you had her as an instructor, she was soft. She was softened, right? She said, "Oh, no, they threw us in the closet, and locked it."
Yeah, dance is tough,
I was
baby.
like, huh?
Dance is tough. Okay, check Miss Debbie Allen in Fame. That's what it was. Period. Yeah.
Yeah.
Should have happened. Should have been a conversation, but yeah.
Sorry,
oh
babe.
Lord, now we got Lady Bird shaking. She's shaking
Look,
because you yelling.
I'm sorry, babe.
It's okay. It's all right.
How long were you mad at me? For years?
I just got over it. So anyway, that's what I got today. That's what's on my mind. I'm not watching the Oscars. I'm sorry, I can't do it. I love you, Taraji and Tasia, and for you, I'm not doing it. I cannot do it. Hey, say hey, Miss Tony.
Lady Bird's
Tony.
11, everybody. She's 11.
Yeah, to my baby. She don't have any teeth.
She don't have no teeth, just like her dad.
Yeah.
Well, guys, have a great one. Same bat time, same bat station next week.
Yeah.
What time are we, baby? What time?
Oh my God.
5 o'clock? We just
I
hopping
think
on.
we're trying to be 5 o'clock, and I think we need to be a half an hour.
Okay. Well,
Don't nobody have time to sit around and watch nothing for no hour.
well, some people did, and so thank you so much.
It's dinner time.
I need to change our theme song, but let's hear it as we go. We'll see y'all
Bye,
next week.
AC. Thank you.
AC.
Thank you for logging on, AC.
See y'all tomorrow.
All right.
See y'all next week.